This video contains spoilers for Legacy of Rust. Here's your chance to click out now if you still want to do a blind playthrough. So, how about that Doom update? If you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and watch my quick explainer about the update and what's included. But in true Doom lover fashion, I was really excited for some new official content and gobbled it up in 2 days. I didn't really want to post a playthrough series of this for a few reasons. First, admittedly, I did not want to play it in the new Kex engine source port, which currently will affect how some monsters behave. I do this because I've grown very used to having vertical mouse look, and I wanted to have complete freedom to look around the maps as I went. But if you do want to play in GZ Doom like I did, simply find id1.wad in your Steam directory and copy to your GZ Doom directory. This map set is MBF 21, so it should also work in DSDA Doom if you want a more traditional feel. I also feel that there's a lot of channels that do traditional reviews and playthrough of VODs that do a much better job than I do. I'll link a few down in the description box because I think their playthroughs are great, and if you're looking for that kind of content, you should subscribe to them. I did still want to talk about this VOD though, because I have a lot of feelings about it, and there's a lot of things that came with its release that I love, so let's get into it. If you've ever had a look at the alpha versions of Doom before this update, and if you haven't, they're on id Games and you should go check them out, some of the stuff in the very first map may look familiar to you. The chairs, the cards, the lockers. Episode 1 of Legacy of Rust kicks off with direct references to Tom Hall's Doom Bible document, which talks about the characters playing cards on top of a crate. There's also a section towards the end of E1M1 that's eerily close to resembling where all the grunts, including our soldiers, sleep, shower, and shit. It's a great touch. Tom Hall's vision for Doom, at least in some small way, gets to live on, even if he wasn't the one to map it. There's also the press beta Lost Souls and the, quote, Banshees, scary red mist creatures that scream in a similarly eerie fashion. Also a mini spider demon, the size of an arachnotron, but also equipped with a chain gun, like a spider mastermind. Originally, these were cut, but now find new life in Legacy of Rust. Even some cut decorations like human barbecue sprites and a corpse pile sprite found their way in. There's a lot of cool little details like this, so if you see something unfamiliar, pop into the id vault and see if it's there. But the refreshing of old concepts wasn't just the cut stuff. Even stuff that we've seen for decades and had in our hands to use got new life. I want to call special attention to the texture work because it's honestly so cool. Here's some examples I found most notable. E1M1 ends with this incredible portal using a composite of several vanilla textures to create this futuristic ring frame. E1M5 has some really great mid-texture variants of rock red, and uses the Icon of Sin's horns to create these grotesque fanged alcoves. And E2M3 has a widened comp tile texture that oscillates between dark and lighter blue. It's a really simple effect, but quite effective without having to add a lighting effect if you don't want to. It's just baked right into the texture. Now, don't get the wrong idea. While there's plenty of retreaded ground in this project, there's also a lot that's new. The first is the format. While it's true that Sigil requires a limit-removing port to play due to its naming conventions, other projects have remained largely vanilla compatible. But not here. This time, it's MBF 21. It's big, it's bold, and unapologetically changing the game. This has allowed for bigger maps and more effects, creating a unique experience while still doing its best to stay true to its style. Well, sometimes. The second is the weapons. There's 2 new weapons in the game, the Flamethrower and the Calamity Blade. These are Plasma Gun and BFG replacements respectively, and they're just really cool. I suspect it was Zazer's idea to add them, as he's a total weapons mod fiend. Did I ever tell y'all about the sheep gun he convinced me to add to an exquisite corpse style maps that I had folks create for Bridgeburner's 24-hour stream one year? A story for another day, I suppose. But the point is, Zazer loves to create new and fun weapons for us, and that he did, which I totally appreciate. The third is enemies. Besides old enemy concepts that I mentioned earlier, there's also some terrifying new additions. The Shock Trooper. If you've ever played Scythe 2, this guy may look familiar to you, and now you're probably also groaning internally. These fuckers are fast, so watch out. The Tyrant, a Wendigo-esque horned demon creature. And the Visago. It takes a page from Supercharge's book and creates a green variant of the Cyber Demon that has less health but still does a lot of damage with its rocket launcher. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out the entirely new texture work. Still in its style with a couple notable exceptions. E1M3. Thomas Carter of Machine Games creates a beautiful set of rusty metals and stone textures to complement his excavated cave map. E2M6 takes a page from Anagnorisis in its mapping style, mapped by Kevin Dunlop of id, and is accompanied by some gorgeous concrete and metal textures created by Chris Hodgson, also of Machine Games. In 2011, a megawad called Doom the Way It Did was released, created by a group of Doom community veterans, aiming to mimic the mapping style of the original id software team. It was warmly received by the community and even won a CAC award. I remember playing it and enjoying it, although I can't remember when it was that I played it. Not when it first came out, as I wouldn't even know what Doom was until a year later. But I remember it feeling good and just like what it described on the box. 13 years later, at least one member of that team came back to lead a team of professionals that includes community veterans like Kaiser, Lexi Mayfield, and Emtrop, who have all found their way into Night Dive now. In a way, it feels just like a warm hug with an old friend. To know that the future of Doom's perception was put into their hands is the most comforting thought I could have had about all of it. This isn't just a map set to me. It's confirmation that we, as both a community and individuals, can forge a path that makes a global impact. Well, another confirmation at least. So many other community members have also found their way to Night Dive and other game development companies, creating and recreating the games we love most. Not only that, we've now been given the tools to create with the new toys they've given us, with resource packs with Legacy of Rust items included with the new port. I personally can't wait to see what the community does with it, what you can do with it. Don't ask me what I can do with it, I haven't figured that out yet, but I will eventually. Firstly, a big thank you to everyone involved on the project. There's a lot of debate over games preservation, remastering, and upkeep, but regardless of how you feel about those things, I think it's quite admirable that this IP continues to be updated, worked on, and usually with the larger community in mind. It's great to see id, Machine Games, and Night Dive continue to collaborate on projects, and I hope to see more from them in the future. Second, play the map set. I didn't really go into what the maps actually play like, but I can tell you that they're really fun and I enjoyed pretty much all of them. If you don't want to, that's cool too. Be sure to check out the channels in the description that have already covered Legacy of Rust, settle in with a snack, and watch them play. I don't have too much more to say. Check out my link tree in the description for all the places you can follow me, and I'll see you guys in my next video, whenever that may be. Bye!